Hola from the west side. It is me, DCThePurpleDiva. Welcome to Not So Random Chat. Happy Saturday, y'all. It is Memorial Day weekend. The unofficial start to summer. And the weekend that the United States is starting to open up. What y'all think about that? You better go get that checked out, all that coughing over there.
Nope, I already got it. I'm on my way out. Checking out.
But I know that there were a lot of people who were at beaches today. And there were a lot of people that were around not practicing social distancing. Now, I know folks are happy to be able to get out of their houses, get out and do some stuff. I mean, it's been what? For most of us, it's been like over 2 months. It's been like, hey, 1SP. Hey, Eva 007. Hey. Happy Memorial Day weekend. And 1SP, thank you. Thank you for your service. And thank you that you are still here. Because a lot of people get it mixed up about Memorial Day. Memorial Day is about honoring those who served and did not come back. Veterans Day is about honoring those who served and are still here. Exactly, 1SP. Exactly. I'm glad you got the notification, Eva. I know people don't get notifications. I try to, post at least 30 minutes before I'm going to come on and hope that people get notifications. But I know a lot of people just don't get them. But I did go to a small, and I mean a small gathering today with members, with other actors that are in this movie that I'm going to be in. And not everyone in the cast came. It was only a few of us that did come. And really we were there, just to get out the house and also to get our costumes approved for the movie scenes. But it was nice to see people in person versus on Zoom. Because we have been Zooming our rehearsals. So we haven't, we've all been in the house. And it's different seeing people in person. And it's now that we know that we're going to be doing the filming in someone's house versus an onstage play, it changes the dynamics of what we're doing. I know. When he was getting ready to go to SC 1SP, he applied for a book scholarship with the Pasadena Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, which I was a member of that particular chapter at that time. And I was on the scholarship committee. And I was at his interview when he interviewed with us. And I remember because he was going to go to SC. And, we didn't get a whole bunch of people who were trying to go to SC. So I remembered him. And then when he came out and started doing movies, I'm like, I remember that guy. Not to mention, I think he was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. And I knew a lot of the Kappas at USC. But yeah, he used to always be at USC homecomings, and I would see him at homecoming. That's the crazy thing is that, I for me, I've never like tried to get SAG-AFTRA for acting, but I know a lot of people. I know people that are in the business, and I've always, done it. Like when I was in college, before I came to California, I was at Hampton, and I was the only non-drama major in the Hampton Players. And I was in the Hampton Players with people like my soror, Roby Reed, big time casting director, costume designer, and Academy Award winning costume designer, Ruth E. Carter. And for those of you who don't know, even though we only know about her as a costume designer, I'm telling you guys, Ruth is a really good actress, but she decided to stay behind the scenes as part of her career, and it paid off for her because she's got an Oscar for Black Panther. She did the costumes in Black Panther. She did the costumes in Selma. She did the costumes in almost every single Spike Lee movie. Ruth Carter did. And the funny thing is that when I see her on occasions that I see her, she still remembers me from Hampton. I mean, I was like a freshman, but she remembers me. But yeah, it's really sad that we lost John Singleton last year. You just don't know when people are under tremendous stress as to how it's going to exhibit itself. Because I really think that it was, all of the things that were going on around him, and he wasn't taking care of himself properly. Because there's no reason why he should not be here. No reason. None whatsoever. He should still be alive. He really, really should. That shocked a lot of people when that happened. And during this time that we're now going through, we've lost a few people, legends to the virus. Little Richard, just recently. And unfortunately, we know that. Oh yeah, she asked about King David. But I don't think that I don't think that we've seen everything that's going to happen with this. Now, one of the things that I will be happy to see, churches, synagogues, and mosques and other religious fellowships, whatever they may be, to have the ability to freely worship in congregation with social distancing. Because I don't understand what the pushback is in places like, here in California, on starting to open them up, obviously with some guidelines. But see, what you guys don't know I know is that the governor of California went around on a campaign to churches trying to get votes when he was running for governor of California. So church leadership, like my pastor, are not going to forget that. Because my pastor happens to be friends with his wife. And for those of you who do not know, my pastor is a female. You know, I'm not against female pastors. I don't care what you think the Bible says. The Bible doesn't say that. Don't make the Bible say what you want it to say about women in religious leadership. If you want to check it out, check out Judges. Look at Deborah. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. Yeah, Betty Wright. That's right. I loved Betty Wright. No pain, no gain. And she could hit those notes, 1SP. She could hit those notes, the same kind of notes that Minnie Riperton used to be able to hit. I didn't even know, and I think that she had complications to corona, but I think she already was sick with something else going on. But man, I love Betty Wright. That broke my heart, you know. Hey Maria, hola. Thank you for swinging by. Yes. Thank you for just dropping by for a minute. I appreciate that. Schools are not opening there. I don't know how they're going to do this, Eva. I don't know how they're going to do this, especially with the primary schools. Now, in California, the California state universities are going to be online this year. The UC schools like UCLA and UC San Francisco, and, you know, they haven't made an announcement as to how they're going to open up the year, as to whether they're going to be online or not. But the issue with smaller children is that unless they've got someone there with them, not all kids are able to learn independently online, you know, from home. Many of these kids are going to need that classroom attention. But here's my thing. How are we going to keep young children with their mask on? Do you think it's going to be a problem keeping masks on them? Let's think about it. And do we think that we should maybe give teachers N95 masks, especially if they're dealing with with kids in grades, say 1 through 5 in kindergarten? Exactly, Eva. That's my issue. Is that I'm really wondering what's going to happen to the special needs children. I'm thankful that my son is no longer in school, because I'm like, for most children who are special needs, online working is not what's best for them unless they've mainstreamed. And if they're not mainstreamed in their education, they need that one-on-one, and doing it on a computer is not necessarily going to work for them. That's exactly. You got to worry about, because I have a friend who's she teaches kindergarten. She's a kindergarten and first grade teacher. And she's concerned about the students, because she's also going to be retiring next year. This is going to be her last year teaching coming up. But she's concerned about things like, social distancing with the smaller children, them you know, wearing the mask, doing what they're supposed to be doing to keep themselves safe and their teachers safe. And generally, the younger kids, the classes are not that small. You know, I don't know how they're going to do this. I'm really, really fearful for a lot of kids getting lost and not getting educated properly. The only thing that I can say that is good that's come out of the thing is that for the next couple of years, the high school students are not going to have to worry about their ACT and their SAT scores. They're not going to, colleges are not going to be requiring that due to what's going on currently. You know, so that's going to be good for a lot of kids. Because, you know, there are a lot of students that are really, really smart, but they just don't take those tests. They don't test well on those standardized tests. And those standardized tests do not really, they don't really tell what their abilities are. The ones who do well on those tests are people who do well on standardized tests. You know, I remember when I was in high school, I went to an SAT class because they really basically have to teach you how to take that test. I'm terrified for what's going to happen. I mean, even with my son, even with him being an adult, in the middle of all this, got to go find him another day program because the day program that he is in has only checked on him once in the last 2 months. He has not been working for 2 months. They are being paid for him as an absent, you know, client due to what's going on, but they've checked on him one time. And also the type of program that he was in, which was a community-based program, I don't think it's going to work going forward. I don't know what they plan on doing, but I'm not waiting around to find out. I'm looking for a new program. I'm looking for one that's going to work with him towards getting skills so that he can get a job. Yeah. And, you know, maybe eventually take a couple of classes, you know, from the community college. But my thing is that, yeah, what he's going through now, I feel like he's just a check to them. He's not a check to me. He's my son. He's bored in that program anyway. But he's going stir crazy right now, and I'm hearing about their other programs that have been doing virtual activities with the adults on the spectrum. And, you know, this is one of the reasons why I live in the part of the Los Angeles area that I do, okay? I live in the part of that I live in because where I live, the regional center covers the more affluent areas as well. So I'm going to need to get my son some of these more affluent services because I served on the freaking board of directors for one of the boards for this regional center for like 6 years. So that in times like this, when I need to jump up and down, somebody's going to respond. So I've already been on the phone with his caseworker, trying to find something that's more inventive, maybe something that's computer-based that'll get him into that side. He's really into the arts, but he's not ready for the artistic program. The artistic program requires him to be more self-sufficient than he currently is. So I need a program that's going to help him to get to the point where he's self-sufficient. The one that he was in does not cut it. Justin Bieber has retired from touring. I mean, I know he's supposedly gotten more into his relationship with the Almighty. You know, that's one of the things I hate. I hate when celebrities and entertainers say that they're a Christian, but then they do a whole bunch of stuff that if you really are a believer, you wouldn't be showcasing. Okay. This is one of the reasons why I always say that I'm a believer. I don't say I'm a Christian. Because I don't think that I believe the same things that some of these people who call themselves Christians believe. But, you know, Justin Bieber has kind of calmed down a lot. You know, he did get married. Personally, I think he's really young to be getting married, but he got married. Okay, Eva, I'm on every day. I'm going to try to start coming on sometimes during the daytime, but I'm on every night. I'm on every night. Thank you for coming through. I really, I know Terry's not in the chat tonight, but shouts out to Nakuma Toure for coming through last night with some information in regards to the Palestinian Liberation Organization in our series. I believe we only have like one more installment on that, but we are going to be doing some things in the near future with Miss Uppity Unicorn, who has a very vast base of knowledge of things over in the Middle East. She actually lived over in the Middle East at one point. And she has a knowledge of things in regards to Islam in that area as well. So we're going to be, the three of us are going to be getting together to come, and we're going to be bringing some things to you guys that we're probably going to be live streaming. Some on my channel, some on her channel, some on his channel. But more to come. I will definitely let you know about that. I'm really excited about that because, one of the things that I like to do is if I see other content creators that are doing, good things and people may not necessarily know about them, or people that are in my area don't know about them, I want to bring that out on, my little platform too. The more the merrier. Thank you so much, Eva. But it was interesting going out today, you guys, this was really the first time going out, and it seemed normal, but it wasn't normal because everybody had on masks and we were kind of scattered in different areas. It wasn't a whole bunch of people together. We weren't, it was like a couple of people at one table, a couple of people at another. Some of us were sitting over in an area, and we didn't, how people are always broadcasting everything they're doing on social media. We didn't do that. It was private. We did some karaoke. I did a little singing. My son sang. And you guys, so David likes to sing this song that I don't really like. Well, no, let me correct myself. It's not the song that I don't like. I like the song. I have a problem with the artist. My son's favorite song is I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly. and he loves to sing that song. That's his favorite song to sing. And so I got up there with him to sing that. And you know, I never realized when he gets up to sing that he is terrified. I mean, I could feel him shaking. And I guess I just never noticed that because this isn't the first time that I've gotten up there with him to sing. But I never really realized that he's like really, he's nervous. He's real nervous about it. But I just kept coaxing him along and he made it through the whole song, y'all. Yeah. Yeah, I have issues with R. Kelly, the Predator. You know, but you know, I can't. The song is about something totally different. You know, that was at a time where I don't know where he was. It seemed like he was trying to cry out to God. I hope he starts continuing to cry out to the Almighty, because dude has issues. But I don't think he's. I think he's going to go to jail and never come back. Never come back. So, you know, but I can't hold that. You know, I can't not let my son sing the song because of something that this man has done. Because the song, it's a good song, and my son likes that, has loved that song since the movie Space Jam. Remember that movie? Yeah, that's where he did that song for that movie. So my son has loved this song since he was a little kid. So I'm gonna just, you know, go with it and stop trying to make him not sing the song. Yeah, and David likes the song. I mean, you know, and it's helping him, you know, with being able to express himself. So I have to look at it from that perspective versus, you know, because, you know, there's a couple of R. Kelly songs that Michael Jackson sang. Am I going to not play the songs that he wrote for other artists? I don't think so. You know, and it's karaoke. But I noticed that, you know, a lot of radio stations don't really play his stuff anymore. Well, clearly he has nothing current, but I don't really hear his old songs that much either on the old school station. Y'all, he needs those royalties so he can pay those attorneys. He's going to prison, but he's still going to need to pay his attorney fees. You know, it's sad. I think about his kids. You know, I'm not really going to have a whole bunch of sympathy for Andrea Kelly because I'm not convinced that she didn't know. I'm really not. Maybe she was a victim to some degree, but she stayed. Hey, Cass. How are you? I forgot he wrote Fortunate. Man, you're going to be making me mad up in here. Hey, Terry. Thank you again for last night, bro. And I'm really, really looking forward to us doing some collaborations with Up in Unicorn. That sister has some knowledge about that area of the world. So it's going to be really exciting. I'm really excited about that. But yeah, you know, I mean, I'm not going to force my son not to sing the one song, because I thank God that my son gets up there and will sing a little bit, because I mean, you guys know he's an adult with autism, and he's not one of those adults that talks a whole bunch. Not that he can't talk, but he's just not very, very talkative. He's not, on the Asperger end. He's really autistic, and he did have a speech delay. But when it comes to singing, he's always been able to sing. So that's one of the places where we connect, is on the music. And of course, he didn't get up there and sing it by himself. I got up there with him. I helped him. But he did a good job, y'all. I almost cried, but I didn't. I didn't cry. I'm so glad you came through tonight, Cass. I'm glad you caught me. I'm glad you caught me. I just think that, as the country is opening back up, I think that people should still keep their social circles small for the time being. Don't go around a whole bunch of people, because you don't know who's been social distancing while you've been social distancing. Now, all the people that I was around today, they've all been social distancing as well. And then we were around each other for a few hours with masks on. The only time you took your mask off is because you can't actually drink. You can't drink anything without taking that mask off. You can't eat without taking the mask off. So those things, we push the mask down to do that kind of stuff, and then we put it back on. But it was fun. It was nice to be around people to have a semblance of a normal holiday weekend. And I saw that there were more people out this weekend. But people are still staying close to home. They're still being selective about who they are around. And they should be. Because as things open up, more people are going to be exposed. I mean, some people were exposed while they were social distancing, which I don't understand. It baffles me. But some people are coming up being positive, and they were at home the whole time, like they weren't going out at all. That's happening in New York. But see, the positives are coming, which means that you either have it or have had it. I just, don't think that it's going to. I don't think that it did work, Cass. Because I personally think whoever was going to get it, got it. And that's the way it's going to continue to be. I think that countries like Sweden, who did not lock down at all, and yet they don't have is higher percentage based on the population. It baffles me that a country that only has 5% of the world population, I'm talking about the United States, has the highest case count based on only being 5% of the world population. Well, we have far more cases based on our population than the rest of the world. I know. It's ants everywhere. So yeah, as it's getting hotter now, my favorite thing is happening. Ants. I'm gonna have to go get some boric acid, y'all. Because while we were out all day, the house was locked up and it was cool. And the ants, you know, I don't know how they find their way in. They come through the pipes because there's no water coming through them. And apparently they can survive in water. Did y'all know that? Ants don't drown that easily. I need some boric acid. That's what I need. Yeah, but here's the difference between us and Sweden, Cass. Sweden already knew they have a much better healthcare system than we do. They were and are equipped to handle if they get hospitals full of people. We were not equipped for that. That is what our issue is in the United States. We do not have a great healthcare system. This pandemic showed all of the holes in our healthcare. And then 45 wants to do away with Obamacare and everything that has to do with it, so it'll be worse. He wants to make it worse. And y'all know he's not going, you guys do know that man is really not taking the hydroqualine or whatever it is. That malaria medicine, 45 is not taking that medicine, y'all. He is lying to us. That man's not taking that. If he was taking that medicine, he would be getting sick from taking the medicine. 45 is what you would consider morbidly obese. And this can cause heart issues and other issues have taken over the period of time that he supposedly has been taking it. And it has been not proven to do a damn thing about COVID-19. So he is leading people astray down a awful path to believe he's taking this stuff. We you know, that is what our issue is. If we had a good healthcare system in this country, we wouldn't have had all the issues that we had. We just wouldn't have. We would have been prepared. Now, where we are now, obviously, we are now prepared. You know, most of the hospitals around the country have more than enough ventilators. So they'll be prepared. But the main thing that keeps people safe is if they actually do two things. Wash your hands all the time for at least 20 to 30 seconds. I know they say 20 seconds. I say 20 to 30. And wear a mask when you are out in public and are in, you know, around other people. Period, point blank, that's it. If you guys think about it, some of the other countries that got, that had this in the earliest stage, culturally, they are ones who wear masks when they think that they might be sick, automatically. We don't do that. We don't care. We don't care if we spread everything around the world, around the whole house. We want everybody in the house to get it. If I get sick, everybody in the house needs to catch it at the same time. That's our mentality. And then we don't, teach our kids to be washing their hands on a regular basis unless they're OCD. So culturally, I don't know where just washing your hands on a regular basis went away, but we don't do it as a whole, as a country. I mean, just the fact that people had to be told that speaks volumes. It speaks volumes that it had to be said. Hey, Jack. That's what I'm saying, Cass. It's not going to help. And I don't know why he's lying. He's lying and saying he's taking that step. I'm like, you think we're stupid. You really think that we're stupid. You have to think we're stupid. You in Vietnam for 6 weeks? That's what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about, Cass. It is in Asian countries, they naturally, they culturally will put on masks when people are sick, And the only place that we see that on a regular basis really is in the healthcare system. They're always wearing masks. And then, of course, you see it when you go to like the nail salon. Because, of the certain health codes that they have to adhere to. They're wearing masks and they're wearing gloves. But outside of those specific professions where it's part of the day-to-day, the rest of us it's just like, but I think that this now, I think outside of the people who just are rebels and just refuse to and don't want to, most people are going to probably start wearing masks a lot of the time for a long time to come. It's going to be the new fashion statement. People are building businesses off of making these N95 masks adherent. You're right about that, Jack. I know this. That's what I'm saying. You have to be very, very careful. They're saying people died of this, that didn't die of this. And then we have cases where, and I don't know if this is true, where they are purposely giving people this virus or exposing them to it so that they can raise the number of cases that they have. Now, this is allegedly, and this is things that we're hearing from healthcare providers who want to stay anonymous. But people who are working in the hospitals are saying that this is happening. And I mean, you guys know my dad's a doctor. I don't, I'm proud of the fact that my father's a doctor. I'm proud of the fact that he's still a working doctor at the age of 81. Go daddy. But he's a dermatologist, so he's not in. I think he's probably they have the lowest malpractice insurance of all doctors, and it's not a stressful type of field, but it covers a lot of stuff. But it just is disheartening to me that my dad is still working because they really need doctors. You think about it, that's why you have some of these, and some doctors came out of retirement. Nurses came out of retirement for this. So that means that our healthcare system is lacking. And I said this before. For years, we were pushing people to become nursing assistants, medical assistants, everything but the actual nurse, the actual doctor, or physician assistant. Because a physician's assistant, that particular assistant, you have to have a 4-year degree. And here's the scary thing. Physician's assistants coming out of school, they make more than medical doctors do. They do. I know my dad has been and here's the funny thing. The reason my father became a dermatologist, my dad always knew he wanted to be a doctor. He knew he wanted to be a doctor from the age of 6, from 6 years old. And my dad was born at the end of the 30s. So he was born, right, as they were coming out of the Depression. And he grew up in the 40s and 50s. But he always knew he wanted to be a doctor. But the reason he became a dermatologist is because my grandmother, rest her soul, had really bad eczema. She had so many skin issues. And when my dad became a doctor, he was able to give his mom all the ointments and creams that she needed, to keep her skin clear. But I remember my grandmother would never, she rarely would wear dresses to show her legs because she had to put all these ointments and stuff on her. I mean, she had eczema everywhere. And then my son, only one in the family, only one that needed a dermatologist because he got the eczema. It jumped over all of us to my baby. Only one who had eczema. None of the rest of us got it. Are you serious, Jack? So if they're dying of something other than COVID, but if they test positive for COVID, they just blame it all on COVID. And see, that's not being that. What that's doing is it's misconstruing the number of people who are really dying from this particular virus. Because if you got a heart attack, you died of a heart attack. The COVID is not necessarily, what caused the heart attack. You already had the, that was already an underlying condition. It may have made it come faster, but it didn't change. They're just trying to manipulate the numbers. What is the purpose of manipulating those numbers other than to get money? It's about money for them then. That is sick. So they basically want people to die from this thing. But we said that before. That's one of the reasons why they're opening up the country. I'm hoping that it has the opposite effect. I'm hoping that as the country opens up, that the numbers just start to go down, because people, number one, are trying to practice social distancing, and my personal belief is that many of us have had this virus and we're asymptomatic. We never got any symptoms, in other words. Because we're finding that there are people who testing for it, but they never have any symptoms. Never. Doesn't even look like they ever had it. So I don't know if, I don't know if the right thing for our country or for the world was to shut everything down. I think everybody was listening to WHO, and I still question what WHO does. And for those who don't understand who I'm talking about, WHO is the World Health Organization. WHO. That's who I call them. Who is who? That's the only decision that I actually agreed with the president on, is, calling WHO to task. But I'm concerned about him trying to control the information that the CDC is issuing to the general public. I'm concerned about the fact that the original guidelines that they put out, he said will never see the light of day, that we will never know what they were. We will only know whatever he approves. He wants them to be less stringent. Now, I know supposedly he's pushing for, houses of worship to be able to open back up. And it's saying he's going to go over all of the governors' heads if they don't allow the houses of worship to open. I don't know what his political point is in doing that. I agree that they do need to be opening up, because if you're opening up stores and malls, stop violating my right and everybody else's right to worship or not worship in person. So I don't know how, I don't know what his point is with that, because who I think that he, hey babe, can you cut that down? I don't want to get no copyright strike. Sorry, y'all. I ain't trying to get a copyright strike for somebody's commentary in the background on my video. That's why y'all get to hear the same music over and over all the time. I don't know what his political point is behind this stuff. Wow. Everyone is pushing back against him. I believe he feels he is trying to keep the country from going into recession. I don't think opening the country back up is going to keep that from happening, because I don't think, depending on what industry people are in, certain industries are not going to be able to recover that easily, like hospitality. Because how fast are people going to be going out and taking trips when they don't have a job? Let's think about that. I understand, you got, like some casinos that are opening up and I would say in the Native American lands, like here in California, but Vegas isn't open as far as I know. Is Vegas opening up? Is Reno opening up? And they can't open up until all the hotels in their cities like MGM, Mirage, Bellagio, all of the Venetian, all of those hotels have to reconfigure everything in the room. How long is that going to take? And then once that's done, of course, they're going to raise the prices of everything. Hotel rooms, all that stuff's going to go up. Somebody's going to have to take that cost. That's true. He still hasn't forced that to happen. He keeps claiming, there's so much stuff that's not in the United States. Many companies have offices in other countries. Even the company I work for, we have offices in other countries because we don't just do the work that we do in the real estate world strictly in the United States. Residentially they do, but commercial lending and commercial due diligence is a whole nother animal. And a lot of the electronic parts that go into all of these phones that we all have come from other countries. The phone might be American made, but the parts aren't. And here's the thing, they did that when they did that first round of loans. You had all these bigger businesses slopping up all the money. And then they did a second round, and I know of one person who truly owned a small business that did actually, get something. But a lot of small businesses didn't. And some of them may not be able to recover from this. Like your little boutique businesses. Only one person that I personally know, and they don't even live in California. But I've heard of other ones that I do not know, but other people know. But yeah, I don't know a lot of small businesses that got that money in that first round, because SBA was I don't know what they were doing. But it seems that they are monitoring how people are using that money, because I believe one company took the money and he used the money to pay off his credit cards and stuff. And I think he's going to jail. And he has to pay all the money back. So they're watching how people are actually using the money when they're getting it. If they're not using it for what it was supposed to be used for, they are prosecuting. I'm in Southern California. I'm in the Los Angeles area. Yep, I'm in SoCal. You know what? I've only been to Northern California a couple of times, but I hear that the Bay Area is more like East Coast. That's what I heard. And I'm from the East Coast, but I heard that the Bay Area the folks in the Bay Area are more like those of us who are from the East Coast. The folks up in the Bay Area are more like what we're used to, than SoCal. But when I came to California, I had a culture shock with Black people in California because they were the people that I first met, and it could have been because I was at USC. So, it could have been because I was in college at SC, but they were plastic and bougie, and I don't know. I wasn't that type of person. And yeah, I'm proud of the fact that my dad is a doctor and everything, but they were impressed by that kind of stuff. It's like, I guess, it just was weird to me. And being Black was a fad. Now, I don't know if it is now, but I mean, being into your Black culture, like being into Black art and knowing the entire Black national anthem, all 3 verses. It just seemed like it was a fad. It was not part of who they really were. I'm sure people have gotten more into their culture, but I remember, like, I used to get asked, the main question I used to get asked when I came to California and went to college here was, why didn't I go to Howard? Because I'm from DC. So I had to inform these people that most of the people who are from DC do not go to Howard. Now, I did attend an HBCU for 1 year. I went to Hampton. And if I had to do it over again, I probably would have stayed in Hampton and then come to California. But I'm glad that I did come here. And I'm glad that I went to SC. I don't have a problem with it. But the reason that I did it was because I did grow up in a predominantly Black city, and I had mainly dealt with us my entire life. Now, most of the us that I dealt with were, what you can consider middle class. So I guess we would consider middle class. But I knew in the real world, I was going to have to know how to deal with other races. And I had a few friends in high school because I did go to Catholic school, but most of the girls in my school were Black. However, there were a few white people white girls that went to my high school, and they graduated with us. Looked better for them because, they were all in the National Honor Society and valedictorians, salutatorians, and that kind of stuff, because they were smart, but they were smart in a Black school, if you get my drift. But it looked good for them. But for me, I wanted to know I needed to know what it was like to go to school where I was the minority, because I'd never been the minority in school. And that helped me because when I got out into the work world, into the corporate world, into the field that I fell into, finance and in, real estate finance and all of that, that many, many times I was the only little Black face in the room. And thankfully for me, when I would have to do, phone calls and everything, the only people who would know that I was Black listening to my voice were the Black people. White people couldn't tell what color I was on the phone. Isn't that funny? The thing is that now, one of the things that I did learn, I learned this after college, is that there was a school in my in the area that I lived in that I could have gone to that was probably better known than the school that I ended up going to. University of Maryland. Now, the University of Maryland is internationally known, and it's internationally known bigger than the University of Southern California. Not that the University of Southern California is anything to cough at, but I'm just saying SoCal, USC is big if you're on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, don't nobody give a damn if you went to USC. I'm just saying. I'm just being really real about that. You know, they don't care. It doesn't mean anything, but from that perspective. But what SC has done for me is that I got a job because the person I interviewed with who was going to be my boss was a fellow Trojan. And he told me that there were other people that were just as qualified as me. He said he hired me because I went to USC. That's the only time that going to USC did anything for me. And then when I worked for GE, the division that I worked in, a lot of the people that worked in that particular office, a lot of us, because it was in the LA area, a lot of the people in the office went to USC. But what was interesting for me, Marcus Allen. Oh, man, I do not like that. I did not like that man back then. I'll share my one Marcus Allen story with you guys before I get off of here. So when I was in college, because y'all know I'm older than I look. I was in college in the 80s and early 80s. And so Marcus Allen got out the year before I came to school out here. But he was still hanging out around the campus along with his friend OJ, by the way. And so they would hang out at one of the bars that was right across the street from the apartment complex that I lived in, Cardinal Gardens. Cardinal Gardens was one of the housing complexes that USC owns for students, apartments. So, but anyway, this bar was across the street. So I saw him and OJ in there. Now, they weren't checking for me because I'm black. But Marcus was so arrogant. He was like moving through the place like he was so important with his friend OJ. Now, this was way before, all the mess happened. But back then, I'm telling you, if OJ sneezed, Marcus would have had his tissue. You are too funny, Jack. Yeah, but I mean, I saw him. I didn't know the dude, but people I knew him. I knew Rodney. I knew Rodney P. I knew Rodney at school, and then obviously and then I became reacquainted with him because of the work that he and his wife do in the autism community, because their oldest son has autism, one of the twins. So, but I was really in school with Rodney because I still remember that Rodney. He got sick, and we had to play the Rose Bowl, and he got out of his sick bed to play the Rose Bowl game and whooped the other team's butt. That was like his last season before he left. Rodney was always a nice guy. Maryland University is a good school. I did an engineering summer program there when I was in high school called Afrotech. And I think they may still have it, but it was an engineering program. It was basically to get Black juniors and seniors in high school interested in going into math and sciences. Because when I was in high school, I thought I wanted to be, I knew I was going into something in the engineering field. But originally I was architect major when I started college, but I was good at the electrical engineering stuff and good at the math. OJ, yeah. I was never an OJ fan, y'all. I was never a fan of OJ. And my reason for being not a fan of OJ was because I did not like the way that he treated his first wife, his Black wife. Yes. So I was never a fan of him. You know, and even through all of that stuff that happened, that woman still stood by this man. You know? Yeah, Rodney, and he's just a nice guy. He is a really nice guy. You know? Holly Robinson Pete, I'm just say she got the prize. Because y'all know her track record before him. Personally, I didn't even think she was going to date. I didn't even think she was going to marry somebody Black. And when she got with Rodney, I'm like, oh my goodness. And y'all all saw how he proposed to her when she was on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. You know, but she's one of those, you know, she's one of them Sarah Lawrence girls. She went Ivy League. Yeah, I will never downplay OJ's athleticism and everything that he did in the game of football. But I just wish he would just go sit down. I wish he would get off of his Twitter. OJ just needs to not say anything else. Stop trying to be relevant. They sent you to jail for you know, for theft because they couldn't send you to jail for murder. Now, I'm not one of those people who is of the belief that OJ had absolutely nothing to do with his ex-wife's death. I'll just say that what my belief is that he was there, but that it was a professional hit. Now, whether he had the hit done himself, whether it was a drug hit, who knows? But the way those people were sliced and diced was something that was above what O.J. Simpson could have possibly done, even in a fit of rage. But I believe that his youngest daughter, Sydney, saw it and knows what happened. And it traumatized her, and she will probably never speak about it. I will send you an email. I sure will, Cass. I'll send you an email from my email address. The one I sent you. I sure will. All right, I'm gonna come on so you guys can see me because y'all know DC is not afraid to cam up. I'm just lazy when I'm on here at night. Hey everybody. Me so y'all can see me there. How you guys doing? I got my braids down. We're going to see how long these last before I pull them out and do it again. Thank y'all for coming. I appreciate you guys for coming through. Put a little makeup on today. Didn't put any lipstick on because y'all know I had a mask on. I had a mask on, so no point in putting that. But I did have my eyes done earlier. Even had lashes on. They gone now. Took them off. Cam up challenge. Exactly, girl. I am not afraid to come on camera. What you see is what you get. And one time I stood up in the unicorn can vouch for that. I did stand up. So people saw me, saw my whole body. I'm not afraid of what I look like, but I'm not standing up right now. But I am a slim girl. I'm a slim girl. I used to model. I used to be a dancer. And not the ones that swing on a pole. I'm talking about ballet, modern dance. Yeah, that kind of dance. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Cass. I appreciate it. Thank you. I will send you an email too. I will. But thank you guys for coming. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'm going to go get some sleep. And then I'm going to go to Cyber Church in the morning. And then I'll be back on sometime tomorrow. I might actually come on during the day. It really just depends. You know, at the thing that I was at today, I couldn't come on live because she asked us to not, do any recording. So I respected her wishes in regards to that. But I may come live tomorrow while I'm hanging out around my house. We'll see how it goes. But until then, guys, I want to offer you guys peace and blessings from the West Side. Everybody have a safe night or morning, because it's morning for some of y'all. And I will see y'all later. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.